In today's Roblox Grow A Garden video, we'll be attempting to get every single mutation on the Ember Lily. Now, I still am not receiving any help from the admins, and hopefully that will change soon so we can actually get the admin events for these seeds. The Ember Lily, we're going to try to do legit, and I think this is a good one to do legit anyways, because a lot of people will want to know how much this thing can actually be worth if you get all the mutations on it. At least all the possible non-admin mutations. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this. Let's go ahead and get our sprinklers ready, just like we always do. We got the master sprinkler, the advanced, basic, and godly, and then we're gonna go ahead and place this down inside of all those. We're gonna spawn in our mooncat so we can hopefully get a pretty big Ember Lily. And there we go. So our Ember Lily's only at 0%. Oh, it's at 1% now. It's speeding up. So I am gonna use some watering cans for this to try and help and get this thing growing fast. Let me know in the comments down below what you think the value of this thing will be once we get every single mutation on it. And then if you want, you can edit your comment at the end of the video and see if you are close. All right, our Ember Lily is growing. It's actually growing a lot faster than I thought it would, so that's good for us. The other thing is too, we have windy going on right now, which would be perfect if this thing was already grown and already had rainbow on it. All right, there we go. Our Ember Lily is grown. Now, the plant itself is looking pretty small, but we could still get a pretty big flower at the top, and I hope we do. I really hope we do. All right, so we're just going to give it a little bit to grow, and we'll see what kind of Ember Lily we get. We'll see what the size of it is. We have all these mooncats, and a bunch of them just napped right next to it, plus all the sprinklers. I think we're going to have a good-sized Ember Lily, and it's growing. I think that's a pretty good size. We'll see if it expands anymore. Oh, it's growing upwards. Okay, so that might be our size then. That might be it. Actually, you know what? This one doesn't look that big. I am going to go ahead and delete it, and then let's see if we can get a bigger one. I really want this to be a big Ember Lily. All right, so I'm going to see if this one grows into be a decent size. It might be still pretty small, but it does look like this one's gold again. I wish gold would actually matter for this. I wish it would count as one of the 5 mutations that we need to get rainbow, but since it doesn't, we do have all of our sprays in line, and we will be using those in just a second. This might be as big as it's going to get because our mooncats be struggling today. All right, this thing has progressed pretty nicely. It looks a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, so I think we got a pretty good-sized Ember Lily. Now, to save some time, I'm bringing out the big guns, and we're going to be hitting the Grow All button. Sometimes we got to use ROBUX to get some good end results, and if you want to help support these videos so I can spend more ROBUX, you can always check out the Bandites merch. You could buy it in my Roblox group. The links are in the description, and you can look as handsome as I do. All right, but I'm bringing the main account me over here to grow all so we can get that Ember Lily looking nice, okay? And there we go. Our Ember Lily is grown. We saved a little bit of time. This is still not as big as I was hoping it would be, but it's a pretty decent size overall. Now we're going to go ahead and pick up our mooncats. I really wish this Ember Lily was bigger than this, but I guess this is the size we're going to go with. I think this is decent, but all right, we're going to go ahead and use all of our spray mutations here. So let's do a chocolate spray on this thing. We're going to save the cloud touch. We'll do pollinated. We'll do shocked, and we'll save the amber one. So we'll do 1 chilled, and that is 5 mutations, but gold does not count towards getting rainbow. So instead, we're going to use a honey sprinkler to get this honey glazed. And there we go. Now we have the 5 mutations that'll actually count. So we go ahead and spawn in our queen bee and a butterfly. Now, some people were asking me in the comments if the queen bee only cools down the butterfly, and no, the queen bee just cools down whatever pet has the longest cooldown currently. So since we only spawn in these 2, the longest cooldown is always going to be the butterfly, so it saves us about 7 or 8 minutes in the end, so we can get this thing rainbow a little bit faster. And again, the butterfly does need 5 mutations, and gold does not count. So these are the 5 we have: shock, chocolate, honey glaze, pollinated, chilled, and that will convert those into rainbow. But anyways, now we gotta wait for these guys to do their thing, get this thing rainbow, so we can't really do much until then. So I'll see you guys in literally like 2 seconds when this is about to be rainbow. All right, it's time for the stuff to happen. The queen bee is going to cool down our butterfly, and our butterfly is now going to get this thing rainbow, and we say bye-bye to the gold mutation that we have. And just like that, our Ember Lily loses all these, but we get rainbow. So I'm going to go ahead and pick these guys up now, and then we're going to go ahead and reapply all of our spray mutations. So we got pollinated, we got shocked. We also have amber, which people did tell me if you wait like 24 plus hours, you can get old amber. And then there's another variant of amber, but we don't have that kind of time. But I am going to spray amber on there. We have chocolate, and then we have chilled, and then we're also going to go ahead and put honey glazed on as well. And just like that, we're already up to 7 mutations on this thing. So we're going to convert that chilled to frozen by using a sea turtle. So there's our sea turtle. You good, bro? He's stuck inside the fence. I hope he's okay. And then we're also going to try to get all of the pet mutations. So I'm going to spawn in a Scarlet to get Verdant. We're going to spawn in 2 chicken zombies to hopefully get this thing zombified. And we'll also spawn in 2 cooked owls. And finally, we'll spawn in 2 disco bees. So now we'll have a chance to get zombified, burnt, or cooked disco. We'll get chilled to frozen once the sea turtle turns it wet. And then we can also get verdant on this, which would be good. So once we get a heat wave event, we can get paradisal on this Ember Lily. So far, we got a pretty good setup here. Now we just got to wait for these pets to do some stuff to give us these good mutations. And we got to wait for some events to happen. Hopefully, we'll get a windy event to spawn in again. And then hopefully we can get twisted, tropical rain, all that good stuff. You know what? I completely forgot one of our sprays. I forgot to put the cloud touch spray on this. There we go. So now we're actually up to 8 mutations. All right, our sea turtle just applied the wet mutation to our Ember Lily, so now it is officially frozen. We can go ahead and pick up our sea turtle, and I guess we'll go ahead and put another Scarlet down so we can have double the chance to get Verdant. So let's see what we get next. All right, hopefully this Scarlet gives us the Verdant mutation so we can get Verdant before we get a heat wave. That way we can get Paradisal, and I don't know if you can stack Sun-Dried with Paradisal anymore. You used to be able to, but after this last update, I've noticed that you can't. All right, Scarlet, don't let me down. Let's get that Verdant mutation done. Oh, let's go. He didn't let me down. I was like instant. All right, so now we have Verdant. So we're set for a heat wave event. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up these Scarlets. And then I guess because the chicken zombie usually takes the longest and the cooked owl, I'll go ahead and spawn in another cooked owl and another chicken zombie. And hopefully we get disco next. The disco bees are almost done with their cooldowns, and so are our original cooked owls. All right, let's see our luck with the cooked owls. Will we get burnt or cooked? We've never gotten cooked before, so that'd be cool to see. First cooked owl failed. What about the second one? All right, so just like that, we got zombified. Usually we get zombified last out of all of our pets, but this time we actually got it before we got disco or cooked / burnt. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up these chicken zombies here. I am gonna go ahead and spawn in 1 more cooked owl so we can have 4, and then we're gonna spawn in 2 extra disco bees so we can have 4 disco bees, and that will conclude all of the pet mutations. And then we just have to wait for some weather or any events to spawn in. But so far this thing is looking good with all of the pet mutations on it and some of the extra ones that we got from the sprays. Disco bees going. Failed. What about the other disco bee? All right, other disco bees going. And apply. There we go. Disco mutation is now done. So we just need to get these cooked owls to give us either cooked or burnt, and then we just gotta wait for events to happen. So I'm gonna pick up all of our disco bees since they're good. We're gonna max out on the cooked owls, which we only have 5 of them. And then I guess to help, we'll spawn in 2 queen bees to hopefully cool these guys down. Or maybe we'll stick with 1 queen bee, because if we have 2, it might cool down the other queen bee, since these cooked owls, their cooldown isn't that long. Oh, perfect. We got a windy event. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my sprinklers ready to hopefully help with this. We're going to put a master sprinkler down. We're going to put a godly sprinkler down, and we're going to put an advanced sprinkler down. The basic doesn't really help with mutations, and hopefully that'll help us get windstruck. Come on. Oh, we just missed our chance. All right, our cooked owl finally applied the burnt mutation to our Ember Lily, which means we are officially done getting every pet mutation that we possibly can get. I guess besides Windstruck, since technically you can get that from the Pterodactyl. But anyways, this Ember Lily is looking pretty good. We just need to get some event mutations on this. So hopefully we can get windy, heat wave, maybe some tropical rain, maybe some aurora. Ooh, it's nighttime. This is good. We can get moonlit, and we do have a night staff here. So hopefully we can get it to just channel us some moonlit mutation real fast, real quick, real nice. There we go. We got moonlit. Your night staff helped mutate a fruit. Thank you, night staff. Okay, I got excited for a second because I thought this was tropical rain, but it's regular rain, and we already have frozen. However, if we had sandy, I believe this would still help that sandy turn into clay, and then we could get it ceramic. But because we don't have sandy, this is kind of a pointless event to have. All right, we have another windy event, and we just got windstruck like literally instantly from this one. So I guess it only takes like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 windy events to get Windstruck. But so far, this thing total has 14 mutations on it. I'm hoping we can get a couple more on this. All right, so we literally have 14 mutations on our Ember Lily, and we have been sitting here AFK for 3 hours, and literally the only event that has happened is windy and moonlit. Like, our event luck today is horrendous. So we're gonna go ahead and check the value of the Ember Lily with all the mutations that we currently have on it. I wanted to get more of the event mutations, but the event mutations are really difficult right now without Brighter's help, and hopefully we can get blessed by Brighter again soon. But for now, we're gonna move forward and check the value of this with Steven. So without further ado, I will pick up this Ember Lily. And here is our beautiful Ember Lily with all of the mutations that we got on it, all 14. I wish we could have got this bigger. I wish we could have gotten more mutations, but we are going to see what the value of this is with the mutations that we did get. So without further ado, I'm going to talk to Steven here, and let's see how much this thing is worth. So Steven, what would you give us for this? 23 billion, and this thing again only has 14 mutations on it. That is a lot of money for this that doesn't have all of the normal mutations we get, like all of the admin mutations. So what do you guys think? Was this worth it for those 14 mutations? What do you think the value would have been if we actually got every single mutation today, including the admin mutations? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.